When most people picture their retirement spending, they picture a flat line. Pick a number, say you'll need 100,000 a year, and just multiply it out across 30 years. Simple. The problem is, that's not how anyone actually spends in retirement. Your spending isn't a flat line, it's a shape. And for most people, the most expensive years aren't the ones at the end, when you'd expect. They're the ones right at the start. Once you understand that shape, two things change: how much you think you need and how soon you're allowed to start enjoying it. And if you'd like someone to help you map what that shape actually looks like for your own retirement, that's what I do. There's a link below. But let me show you why the first 10 years matter most first. I've been running my own advice practice since 2019, and the pattern I see is almost always the same. People plan for a flat line, then live a completely different shape. And it catches them out in both directions. Here's what that flat line misses. When you first stop working, something happens that a spreadsheet never predicts. You finally have time. All the things you put off because your work was in the way. The travelling, the trip to see your grandkids interstate, the caravan, the thing you always said you'd do one day. One day is now. So the early years of retirement tend to be the busy years, the active years, the expensive years. Not because you're being reckless, because you're finally doing the things you spent 40 years waiting to do. And then, gradually, that spending tends to settle. The big trips get less frequent. A long-haul flight starts to feel like more effort than it's worth. You're still active, still enjoying yourself, but closer to home, at a gentler pace. And spending naturally eases with it. So instead of a flat line, what actually happens for most people looks more like this. Higher at the start, settling through the middle, lower later on. A shape, not a straight line. And this completely changes how you should think about the number. If you plan for a flat 100,000 every year, you've either underestimated the early years when you'll actually spend more, or you've spread your money so evenly that you're being cautious exactly when you shouldn't be. And that second one is the one that quietly hurts people the most. Because here's the pattern I see, more than almost any other. People are so worried about running out of money 20, 30 years down the track that they're too careful in the years they could enjoy the most. They don't take the trip, they put off the big one until next year, and then next year. They tell themselves they'll do it later, when they feel more sure. And sometimes later doesn't look the way they pictured. Health changes, energy changes. The long flight that felt exciting at 65 feels like too much at 75. So they end up with money they were too frightened to spend. And the list of things they never quite got to do. That's not careful, that's the plan quietly failing in a way no spreadsheet ever flags. So here's the shift. The goal isn't to spend the same every year. It's to spend in a way that matches the shape of your actual life. More in the early years, when you've got health and the energy to turn money into memories. Less later, when your life naturally gets simpler. And done properly, that's not reckless, it's the opposite. Because when you understand the shape, you can plan for it, deliberately. With the numbers checked, instead of being frightened of a flat line and hoping caution keeps you safe. The first 10 years of retirement really can be the most expensive, but they can also be the best. And the whole point of the money was always to let you live them. This is general in nature, so it's important to consider your own situation, because the shape of your spending will be different for everyone. Now, if you're going to spend more in those early years, there's a real question underneath it. How do you structure your money so a high spending first decade doesn't leave you short later on? Get that part wrong and even the best plan can come undone. That's what this next video is about. If you'd like help working out what your own spending shape looks like and how much you actually need to fund it, I work with Australians approaching retirement in exactly this position. You can find details below.